Hi all, this is Vandana Bhalla, one of the corporate brokers here at Signature Real Estate Group with another Broker Insight. As many of you are aware, these Broker Insights are inspired by real life scenarios. So a recently real life scenario arose when an agent in our office represented the buyer and through an inspection discovered that the enclosed patio was in fact not permitted. Now you can substitute the scenario for a fireplace that isn't unpermitted, or a wall or window that was covered up and is now a wall and that was unpermitted, whatever scenario you want it to be. So essentially, once they discovered that it was in fact unpermitted, now what? Well, the first thing to do is to find out what that buyer wants to do about this unpermitted addition to the home. That's key, right? Because it's not your decision to make, it is the buyer's decision to make. And then if they just simply want answers as to what future liability may be, whether, down the road if they decide to sell the house or whatever that looks like for them, then they should contact the appropriate entity like the county and ask about what that liability would look like for a hypothetical situation. I think that's the key right here. It has to be a hypothetical situation. You could also, if the buyer wants some information or wants to get it permitted or whatever, request that the seller correct the matter, whether it's to get it permitted, remove the work that actually has been done. That might be the safest and easiest solution. And sometimes it might not be the least expensive solution. So it really is a negotiation between the buyer and seller. And hopefully that unpermitted addition has been disclosed in the SRPD somewhere. Each of those options would have some implications for the seller, right? Possibly unwanted expenses, like I had said. However, that just note that if the buyer starts to contact entities, right, make sure to remind them that they cannot use an address. Like it cannot be very specific. It has to be hypothetical. If they do not want to buy the home and they call around alerting, all these entities that there's something going on, that there's an unpermitted add-on to the property, that could open that buyer up for some liability if one of those entities comes knocking on the seller's door. So be very careful that there is some form of hypothetical situation and no address that's being used. And that is something that the buyer needs to do during the due diligence period. It might actually be best if the seller is the one that does the work and provides the infos back to the buyer in writing within that due diligence period. And hopefully, even if you're representing, let's say the seller is a listing agent, and they have disclosed somewhere on the SRPD that there is in fact an unpermitted addition to the property, they may want to find out what it would cost to permit that, what the steps would be to get it permitted or to have it removed. Find all that out so you've got the information and you are geared with it when you go into a transaction. So hopefully that information is helpful. If not, please do not hesitate to reach out to one of the brokers here at Signature Real Estate Group for some additional help. Thanks so much.